Hi, I'm Carl Azus, and welcome to CNN 10. We're returning to our daily current events coverage today, and of course, we're happy to have you watching. Our first stop is in Southeast Asia, where U.S. President Donald Trump is scheduled to arrive on Tuesday. Air Force One touches down in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, and the American leader will meet with Vietnam's leader, President Nguyen Phu Trong. That's not the main reason why President Trump traveled there, though. It's for a second summit with Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea. Their meeting is scheduled to take place on Wednesday and Thursday. No one knows yet what will come out of this historic event. It's only the second face-to-face meeting that sitting leaders from these two countries have ever had. Critics say their first summit, which was held in June of last year, didn't produce enough concrete results, though it was considered a diplomatic success for both leaders. So observers will be watching to see what specific plans of action are made by President Trump and Leader Kim. The U.S. wants North Korea to show that it's shutting down its controversial nuclear program. North Korea wants the U.S. to normalize relations with the communist state. Another possibility here, that the Korean War will officially be brought to an end. A ceasefire stopped the fighting in 1953, but North Korea and South Korea, along with the nations that supported them, have never officially declared that the war is over. The setting for this event, in Vietnam, another communist country that's been a rival of the United States, provides symbolism that American officials hope to take advantage of.
These three flags, the United States, Vietnam, and North Korea, line the streets of Hanoi, the Vietnamese capital known for its iconic landmarks like the Tay Hoc Bridge, a symbol of this city's past, which also includes the Vietnam War, which left much of this city in ruins, and then the city was rebuilt, an economic miracle here in Vietnam as a result of normalized relations with the United States, and perhaps a lesson for North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who is on his way here for his historic second summit with the U.S. President Donald Trump. This is the International Media Center. Thousands of foreign journalists are descending on Hanoi, and the Vietnamese government knows that the eyes of the world are watching. They've even flown in these flowers from Dalat in the central highlands of Vietnam, and you can see cleaning crews all over the city, sprucing things up, making sure everything is perfect. Behind me here is the infamous Hanoi Hilton, where American prisoners of war were detained, interrogated, and tortured during the Vietnam War, including the late U.S. Senator John McCain. This building really is a symbol of just how far Vietnam has come since those dark days during the war. A symbol of how a country can recover from a conflict with the United States, normalize relations, and end up with a booming economy and a better relationship with the rest of the world. It's a message that the U.S. President Donald Trump will undoubtedly be trying to hit home when he meets with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un here later this week. Will Ripley, CNN, Hanoi.
10-second trivia. Which of these countries has the largest fishing industry in the world? India, China, Indonesia, or United States? When it comes to aquaculture or underwater agriculture, China leads the world with the largest fishing industry. Another event coming up is the Brexit, the British exit from the European Union, which is scheduled to happen on March 29th. One big question is whether it will happen with a deal in place. If the British government and the European Union can agree on the terms on how Britain will split off, the whole process could go more easily and smoothly. If they can't, what's called a no-deal Brexit could happen, which carries enough uncertainty to temporarily hurt the British economy. We've mentioned that no country has left the European Union since it was officially established in 1993. It's an incredibly complicated process, and you get a sense of that from how it's impacting people in Britain's fishing industry.
You wouldn't think that this has much to do with global politics. Fishing accounts for a tiny percentage of the UK economy, just 0.12%. But the industry has been at the heart of the Brexit debate over and over again. This is a look, in 3 parts, at how the British fishing industry embodies the hopes, fears, and complexities of the UK leaving the European Union. The story starts at the coast, Portsmouth, England. Matt is one of nearly 12,000 fishermen working in the UK. Taking back control of British fishing waters for fishermen like him was a key promise of the pro-Brexit campaign in 2016. One poll before the referendum showed that 92% of British fishermen supported Brexit.
It wasn't the only reason I voted to leave, but it was one of the main issues. I would class this industry as being the endangered species Is there anything I can do personally to change it? No. It's all down to the powers of Westminster.
British Eurosceptics have long been angry at having to share their fishing waters with other EU countries. They see it as losing sovereignty over a precious national resource.
You can't blame the European fishermen. At the end of the day, if I had the opportunity and a vessel big enough to go to France and exploit their fishing grounds, which yielded a lot more catch, I would do it.
From the coast, these fish are sold to the UK's fish markets. Fish traders are the beating heart of the British fish industry, getting British fish to markets overseas or at home and bringing in seafood from abroad. The UK imports 70 to 80% of the fish Brits eat and exports up to 80% of its catches. Currently, traders like Eric can export fish to the EU without tariffs, but after Brexit, his goods might be taxed at the border.
We export to mainly Spain, France, and we used to do a lot with Italy. If another country wants our fish, and I'm sure they will have to pay the increased charges.
While industries across the UK are nervous about the effects of losing free trade with the EU, Eric shrugs off any concerns.
Brexit is Brexit, and when we're out of it, for me, as a fisherman and fish merchant, I'll be very happy.
This is the end of the line, the kitchen of a fish restaurant. At Cornerstone in London, British fish is always on the menu, but often the hands serving it come from further afield. 75% of waiters and waitresses in the UK hospitality industry come from other EU countries.
All of the staff that we have that work on the front of house are non-British citizens, and they see it as a career. A restaurant manager in France is regarded the same way as like a bank manager. Jobs in the front of house very often by British people are seen as a stopgap.
Under EU rules, a European citizen has the right to live and work in any EU state, and the British government says the millions of Europeans already living in the UK would be allowed to stay post-Brexit. But curtailing immigration into the UK was one of the rallying cries of the pro-Brexit referendum campaign. And that has some restaurant owners nervous.
It's more the uncertainty of it. So, I mean, I probably know as much as the government do about what's going to happen with Brexit, which is nothing. If suddenly we had to help all our staff to pay loads of money for visas, if we had to lose a lot of staff very quickly, it would be a massive hurdle for us to get over as a restaurant.
From the port to the plate, this fishy food chain bears some of Brexit's most important questions.
This is Megakai Pluto, the world's largest bee, and something I've dreamed of seeing for about 9 years.
If you think modern cars feature way too much plastic, here's a classic that has them all beat. It's a Volkswagen camper van made from Legos. Its builders used computer software to calculate how many plastic bricks they'd need. Then they assembled 400,000 of them and included a pitched roof, a 1960s style kitchen, and a sliding side door. At 1,500 pounds, it weighs less than a real van. With a 6-week build time, it took a lot longer to assemble. And while it has a number of vanatics, it's not for everyone. Some folks don't brick for Legos. Some already have too much on their plate. Some don't want to have to tile you that at any minute their car could fall to pieces. It gives them a pretty bad attitude. Others can let go of all that because these are the building blocks that make them plastic. I'm Carl Azus, and that's CNN.